Okay, so here's today's deal. I'm here to talk about Tyler Bertuzzi and why the Red Wings should not try and re-sign Tyler Bertuzzi. One, we already know that him and Steve so kind of go over an itinerary of today's video. We are going to go over why a couple of pros on why you should, but in my opinion, why you shouldn't. Again, the pros are also my opinion as well, I guess, but that's really it. So, in my opinion, let's kind of go over some of the things that are facts about Tyler Bertuzzi, who, by the way, is a phenomenal player, has played so well. So he is a second-round pick. So I'm gonna jump over to my next screen, and we can kind of go over why some of the things that he was really good with. But I just want to show you kind of some of the things that he did. So he was a second-round pick by the Red Wings. You can see right here, second-round pick, 28th overall. 28th pick, 58th overall. So he was a later second round pick. Good pickup, by the way. Great pickup by the Red Wings in the second round pick. A great NHLer. Clearly, he's been playing for a while, too. And he just played, by the way, he did a phenomenal job in the actual playoffs with the Boston Bruins. So you can see here 7 games played, 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points. What a great, by the way, in 6 games, he had 9 points. So you're looking at a point and a half every game for this guy, and then in the last game he gets another point. So this is his career playoffs. Mind you, his plus minus is a little bit meh right there. You can see it's a -4, and his penalty minutes is quite a few penalty minutes. But he's a playoff player. Look at this, 23.8 save or shot percentage. That's high. Probably shooting a little higher than what would be normal. Mind you, in the regular season, about 12 to 13% is a little more normal, so that is a pretty high. He was shooting at a very high percentage. Mind you, this was his first playoffs, right? So, what the theory is when Tyler Bertuzzi is looking for a new contract, his agent's going to say, well, look, he shot 23.8%. He's a playoff performer. You need to pay this guy, and in my opinion, the pay is the biggest reason why you don't re-sign Tyler Bertuzzi. It's partly pay and it's partly timeline. Now, I would take Tyler Bertuzzi at a shorter contract for a lower price. So if we go to Tyler Bertuzzi, we can actually see. Well, I'm going to show you why he ended up leaving Red Wings in the first place, by the way, too. So you have Tyler Bertuzzi. Here we go, sent over to the Boston Bruins for a conditional first-round pick. It's top 10 protected, and a fourth-round pick of Boston's in 2025. The fourth-round pick is an add-on, but really the Red Wings were saying, hey, we need a first-round pick for Tyler Bertuzzi, which is pretty impressive given his stats that he had with the Red Wings. If we go down to his stats of the Red Wings, because he was injured twice. Twice he was injured because he broke both his hands blocking shots, of course. So going through, you can see 29 games, 4 goals, 10 assists, 14 points. So you're saying that a half a point, less than half a point per game player was worth a first round pick. That's not what they're thinking, right? So, but what you're doing is getting a player it's a point, almost a point per game. So look at this right here. He had a great breakout year, 30 goals in 68 games, 62 points. This is the type of player that you right here are looking for. If you look back to 2021, the nine games, he got 7 points, but in 9 games. But this is where he had his back injury, which is the bigger point. You can see he did get progressively better, like a half point per game, over half point per game, a little, about the same. But you can see it's just progressing. By the way, this 19-20 season was terrible with this -23. And I know plus minus is not everything. Plus minus is calculated on goals that are scored while you're on the ice, minus the goals that are scored against you on the ice. That means that was 23 more goals were scored on the ice, scored while he was on the ice on even strength than the goals scored while he was playing on the ice. So with that, the Boston Bruins picked up the player that they thought they were going to be getting, and they got a great player. Look at it. Look, when they picked him up, 16 points, 21 games. That's a great point per game player, or not point per game, point per game player. You're looking at about 0.8 points per game, so you're getting about almost a good chunk, about a point and a half per game player. So with that, that's the type of player that the Boston Bruins are picking up. So this is why they acquired him. So if we go to I'm going to go to his contract real quick so you can see right here. So Bertuzzi was making 4.75, so he's going to be wanting a upgrade. He's gonna want. It's funny, YouTube TV. I have that. He's going to be wanting an upgrade with his contract. He's going to be wanting to do a little bit better. So in my opinion, this is where I was saying that if the Red Wings wanted to sign Bertuzzi, I would be okay signing a 5-year by $5.5 $13.5 million, which is more money. But now he is a free agent, so right, he can demand a little bit more. And because the free agent class is terrible, is not a good free agent class. There's no big names. The big name probably is Tyler Bertuzzi. Matt Dunn was another one, being a defenseman. But if you're looking for a good winger in a playoff style, you're going to be wanting Tyler Bertuzzi. And the Red Wings like, well, we already shipped him off. Why would we want him back? And again, so in my opinion, because Tyler Bertuzzi, he had this crap year in 2021, 2021 because of the broken back. The Red Wings saw what he could do, right? Because he came back, he bounced back. But as we know with players, back injuries are so intermittent. I know as well, I have a back injury as well. And some days I'm having a great day, some days it's a really tough day. So as an athlete, you need to make sure that you're on point, especially if you're being paid the big dollars. So in my opinion, he's going to want the longest, most expensive contract that he can get. And by the way, as he should, he hasn't been paid like crazy amounts of money. So again, I'm going back to his contract. Here he gets a 4.75, but if you go to his other contracts, look at he was making. Here's ELC, right? This is the entry level slide, so he was able to slide another year. Look at 1.4. A 3.5. That was the arbitration year. So I mean, like he hasn't been crazy high paid, right? But for a player of his caliber, he should be able to get paid. So in my opinion, he's going to be going out there and looking for the money. And he's a 30 goal scorer, so you can say that. And so the agent's going to say, hey, well, what are we going to do? We want him to get paid. I want my client to get paid. So in my opinion, what they're going to end up doing is I think he's going to want a 7-year deal. That's bare minimum. He's going to want the $7 million deal. Because again, he has a back injury, right? And I believe he's 20. Let's go to him real quick. He's 27, I believe, maybe 28. So you're not going to get a Bertuzzi on a 3-year contract. He'll be 31. What kind of big contract is he going to get at 31? He's not. So he's going to want a 6-7 year deal for the max amount of money, right? So he might take a $5 million for 7 years. That's $35 million a year, right? Or he'll take a 6x6, which is $36 million a year, right? So you're looking around that frame. And I think because he was making 4.75 before, I think he's going to get $1 million bump up, right? I think he's going to get to 5.75. So let's round it to 8 or so to 6. So 5.75 goes to 6 million, just to make it easy numbers for everyone. So you're thinking like a $6 million contract. Let's jump over to the main screen. So we're talking about a $6 million contract, okay? And he's going to want longest term. So which team is going to go out there and they're like, someone's probably going to offer him 6x6. Great deal. But in my opinion, someone will, because of what they saw in Bertuzzi, what he was capable of doing, I think that he's going to get a 7-year deal by $6 million. That would be normal if you were just to do a normal upgrade on it. I think someone is dumb enough. I think there's some GM out there right now and is dumb enough to give him a 7x7. I think that he is. I don't think he's worth. I think there's a GM dumb enough to give him $7.5 million, $7 million for 7 years. But I was thinking it's gonna be Philadelphia, but now that Chuck Fletcher is gone, I don't think that as much. But I think you're gonna see a team potentially. I'm thinking actually a Columbus might be a really good option for that. I just random name out of the hat. A team that is on the up and come, right? That wants that playoff performer. I'm thinking someone like Buffalo, but Buffalo has a lot of those players that they're starting to build that team. So I don't see them doing that. But I do see Columbus potentially doing something like that. Or maybe some middling team, again, that's on the up and coming, right? Like, it's not going to be Anaheim. They're still in the middle of rebuild. San Jose's going to rebuild. Seattle's already in the playoffs, so I don't know if they do it. Actually, that might be a good one. That might be a good one because they're not looking to buy a $10 million player, but like they could probably fit a Bertuzzi in there. I think he actually ended up being like one of the highest paid people on that team at that point. I don't know if he wants to go to a Canadian franchise either, just because one of the big sticklers that Steve Yzerman and him had was he was not willing to get vaccinated. So he was I think he was at one point the only unvaccinated player in the NHL, which at this point, now the COVID restrictions are a lot less strict, that's less of an issue. So in my opinion, I just see him getting a decently big deal from somewhere else. Because mind you, this is back in December, I believe. There was rumors that Yzerman and Bertuzzi hadn't talked about a conversation in December. This is, by the way, he didn't get traded until March 2nd, I think. Let's see. Jump right over. March 2nd, right? At the trade deadline, near the trade deadline. So he got traded, and they stopped having conversations in December. They were just too far apart. I know that he wanted term, and he wasn't. And he want. I knew Bertuzzi wanted to stay in Detroit, but he wanted term. But honestly, he just doesn't fit in the Red Wings timeline. So if you go to the Red Wings, you gotta see what they're doing. Let me jump over to my other screen. You guys see who they're working with too, and the ages that they're working with. So if you're looking at some of these guys, click out of this thing. So some of the guys that they have on there that are older, right? Because mind you, Bertuzzi's 28. So Dylan Larkin, you just signed him to a massively long contract, $8.7 million. Great, awesome, good deal. Cops for a couple of years. He's last year's free agent acquisition. He'll probably bump down to the third line once Marco Kasper comes up. So, and you're looking at some of your wingers, right? So Bertuzzi plays. He's a left winger, right? So you look at some of the left wingers you have here. Robbie Fabry, he is going to be here for a couple more years. He's got the rest of this year and then 2 more years after that. So you don't need him there. He's pretty high up there. You have Suter, they might resign, but you have where is he? Lucas Raymond can play either side. Berggren, Zadina, some of these guys are going to be able to play, and you have people that are coming up as well. In the like Carter Mazer, going down to the here we go non-roster guys. So you have Soderblom's going to play left wing. Lombardi just signed recently center, but he also could play the wing because that's how it ends up happening a lot of centers. Left wing Cross Hannes, right? Pontus Andreasen they'll probably let him go. But some of these guys, Carter Mazer, another left winger, there's a lot of depth with left wingers. So why are they going to try and bring Bertuzzi back and sign his long-term contract if they're just stacked on the left side? So that's another reason is that you already have enough guys coming up that you don't really need it. You don't really need him to come up. So why would you bring him back? And also, but the thing is, Bertuzzi doesn't fit the timeline, right? You got to think about, again, we'll go back to the reason I want to jump over to the roster is age, really. So we're looking at some of the ages of these guys. With your forwards, look at some of these. So the people that we're going to keep around, I'm going to go with that instead. The people who are going to be long term, right? Perron will be gone after next year. Probably won't resign. Fabry, you can push down the lineup. But look at these guys; they get progressively younger, right? So you're gonna keep on Veleno, 23 years old, Raymond, 21, Berggren, 22, Kasper, 19, 23 for Zadina, right? These are your younger core that you're trying to keep around, right? I think Suter may hang around as a bottom line guy, maybe Kubalik as well, maybe, right? Fabry, some of these guys are going to be pushed out because they're going to want bigger contracts, and I don't think everyone's going to want to keep them around. Because you're going to have these younger guys who are going to want big contracts as well that he drafted, right? And going back to your other core here, you're going to have Seider down here. You have Wallman. Wallman's a little bit older, but he just signed his longer term deal as well. And then you have Edvinsson as well. We'll scroll down to there. Let's go down to Edvinsson. You have Kosa, who's 21, I believe. Here we go. Let's go down here. Edvinsson, Sabrango, 21. Emil Viro, 21. Johansson, 22. This is the core that you're building around, is these younger guys. So I don't understand why you would want to bring back Bertuzzi, who, again, a little older, but he's not going to be in that core central, right? This isn't your core anymore. Like, Dylan Larkin is your leader of the core, but your core is going to be your Raymonds, your Seiders, your Edvinssons. Those are the ones that are going to be sticking around long term, even after Larkin is not playing as high. To me, I see Larkin similar to like not Eric Stahl, Jordan Stahl of the Carolina Hurricanes. Do you know where Jordan Stahl, the captain of the Carolina Hurricanes, plays? He plays third line center. I see, hopefully Larkin lasts longer than that, but I can see Larkin getting bumped down, right? If Lombardi plays out well, if Kasper plays out well, or they get another center this draft in 2023, he can play center, and it bumps Larkin down. That's good. You imagine a third line Larkin. That would be crazy. Imagine how, if you have Larkin, who is a number one center in the league, right? Is he in the top tier? Probably not, but he is a number one center in this league. If you have him as your 3C, imagine how good your other two, your first line center and your second line center is. So I just don't see that. And mind you, they're going to be young. Again, Bertuzzi is Injury prone. He's 28. Injury prone, back injury. He's 28 years old. He's going to want a long contract. 6 or 7 years. By the end of that contract, he's going to be 34. And in 6 years, Seider will be 27 in his prime. In his prime, do you want a Bertuzzi there? Do you want a Bertuzzi at $6-7 million holding back? You would want to get rid of Bertuzzi at that point because you want to make up cap space for a player that could be another impact player to push you further in the playoffs because you're going to have a young Raymond. Raymond will be 26 at that point. I think it's around there. So you're going to want, again, you want that younger core. So it doesn't make sense to bring Bertuzzi back because he's going to be too expensive and he's going to potentially get hurt as he gets older, which is okay. But let another team figure that out, right? The Detroit Red Wings are too young to do this. And by the way, too young to bring in a contract like that. And Bertuzzi plays, everyone says, he plays playoff hockey. He plays so gritty. That's the player you need. You need someone that can play playoff hockey. Do you know how long those players last? Do you know that there's a study that the more physical you are of a player, the shorter your career is in the NHL? There's a study. I mean, duh. And Bertuzzi plays a hard, gritty game. But that doesn't mean he's going to last long. Which is why we know that if Bertuzzi came back on a 3-year contract, good. 7-8 million, 3-year, $3 million or 3-year contract, totally good with that. But I don't see that. That's only $24 million. He's going to want like a 6x6 because he's going to want that longevity. He's going to want that $36 million contract, right? So I just don't see how that makes him a viable option to pick as a free agent. And I think he's going to be he's going to be one of the top guys in this free agent class. But someone's going to go out there and want to pay him a ton of money. And I think he should go get his bag. Go get your money and go live in an amazing place, have a lot of fun. Go to Florida. He'd love Florida, I imagine. So he's a Florida or Texas guy. I could see that. I know Dallas is looking into him. I can see Dallas picking him up because they're in their window right now. They're in the second round, going to Game 7 right now. Potentially going to go to the conference finals. They want that extra little piece, right? And they don't care. Throw the money in it, right? They would love a Bertuzzi right now. But, again, it's not the position that the Red Wings are in right now because they're on the upswing, and Dallas is in their playoff now. So that's why they would go out there and spend the money on a contract like Bertuzzi because they want a player that can play now and can play tough and play gritty. So let me know what your thoughts are on a Bertuzzi contract, what you would do, pros, cons. Again, I see a pro, great player, tough player, knows the systems, playoff getter, right? Puts up points. We saw that with Boston. Con, back injury. His age. He'll be older at the end of a longer contract. He's going to want too much money, and it doesn't fit in the area of the core that the Red Wings are building on right now. So let me know what your thoughts are. Hit like, subscribe, and love you.